Hello and welcome to the Judge Cuts 1 of AGT time. Cody Patterson here along with
Jay Bach. And we're going to get to discuss Brad Paisley as a judge. And we had to somehow cram 18 acts into this episode.
18 acts seemed like a lot to me. I went back and looked at what the previous Judge Cuts was for last year and the year before, and in season 12 they had 20 acts.
Oh, hot dog. Wow, that's a lot of acts. But they found a way to cram them all in and still get plenty of backstories on the ones that they wanted us to see.
Oh, absolutely. And it was easy to figure out which one they liked based on the backstories.
Right. Yes. So good to sort of be back in the driver's seat here. It'll be interesting as we go through these acts and go through the coming judges' weeks. I wonder the acts that we got to see in the preliminaries and the acts that went through. There's going to be some that are also going to be going through as wild cards. It seems like we've already seen most, if not everybody, who's going through.
Absolutely. It's going to be kind of pretty easy to tell.
Yeah. But we can jump into the actual acts themselves. We'll kind of rock through them in order like we normally do. And then we'll see, you and I think, both took down who our top 7 would be, or our top 6 and our golden buzzer maybe, and see how those compare to what the judges gave us.
Yep. But before we get into that, we got to do some business.
Oh, yes.
We want you to reach out to us. We're starting to be a little more active out on social media because we're getting closer to the live shows. We want some more interaction. So we'd love for you to hit us up. We're on Twitter, AGT Time on Twitter. I'm out there at Cody L. Patterson. Jay's out there at One Man Bander. We have an email, agtcast@gmail.com. And we're on Facebook, AGTcast. Now, today I posted a poll. Wanted to know what you all thought about the golden buzzer. So go out there, vote on the poll. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, what were the results on the poll? Or are we going to let that ride a little bit longer?
We're going to let it ride. I think I put it out there for 5 days.
Okay.
So it'll be out there till sometime early next week, and then we can talk about it on next week's show.
That sounds great. We'll look forward to seeing what you guys have to say. Of course, rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend, all those things podcasters are supposed to say.
Absolutely. So let's get into the show, Jay.
Yeah, what time is it?
It's AGT,
AGT time. All right, here we go. First act of the night was Lucas and Falco. This is the Sarah and hero of this year. In the package, we learned that Falco is 10 years old and he's not too far from retiring. They're going to do a Greatest Showman themed skit. Are you familiar with The Greatest Showman?
I'm a little bit familiar with The Greatest Showman, yes.
All right. I'm a lot familiar with it. It's
I think pretty much everybody is familiar with this.
Okay. It's a movie that my daughter and my son enjoy, and it's colorful and it's a uplifting story, and it's all the things that 5 and 8 year olds like. So live action, and so anyhow, Greatest Showman is sort of the theme of it. Notable moves, I'd say Falco from on top of a barrel, he takes off Lucas's top hat. I thought that was kind of a cute little move. And then we got to see Lucas actually do some performing. He's balanced on top of a large ball and juggled while Falco ran circles around him.
Yeah, that was fun.
The other move that I noted, Falco would jump over Lucas while Lucas is like doing somersaults. I thought that was a pretty good move. I don't know how they would train a dog to do that, but all in all, it was a really nice, enjoyable act. What'd you think of them?
It was nice and enjoyable. It was great they had a theme. I did like that Lucas finally got involved a little bit more, and we were able to see some of his talent compared to Falco's talent. Now, one key tidbit on this, if you looked back at season 12 when Sarah and Hero were on there, they were the first act in Judge Cuts.
Oh.
So AGT likes to put the dog act first in Judge Cuts.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting why that would be. Yeah, we Simon gave him a standing ovation. He said, I just had this idea the other night. It's The Greatest Showman 2, but with dogs. And he said he'll be fighting for him. And I think Simon might have been serious that this was his idea to do The Greatest Showman 2, but replace actors with dogs. Julianne said he deserves to be on stage. Gabrielle said, this was better than your first audition. Howie said you did more tricks this time. And Brad Paisley said, it never hurts to tailor your whole act to Simon Cowell. So really pretty good praise from the judges. Nothing too negative there. I felt good about it. It's a pretty big stage, and maybe that's my biggest complaint is that it's really hard for just one person and one dog to fill that entire stage.
Yeah, I did like that Lucas did more talent this time than he's done before. It made it more fun to watch.
Yeah, and there's a billion jugglers on the planet, and he may not be the best, but it was good to see that, and that did make me smile. I liked that.
Yep, absolutely. Now, we do our little thing now where we time the acts. We started doing this back in Champions. I did it some in auditions, but not a whole lot. But now that we're in Judge Cuts, it seemed that the timing was much more apparent this time than in auditions. Because as we started going on to like the second, third, fourth act, I felt the need to time these a little bit more because they felt much shorter than what we got in auditions, and they were trying to cram 18 acts into an hour-and-a-half show.
Okay, so do the math for me. We had an hour-and-a-half show, which is 42 minutes per hour, so we're down to close to 90 total minutes of broadcast.
Right. So it's, I watched it on Hulu, and on Hulu, it's right at an hour and a half. So,
Okay.
You're watching on network TV, it's full 2 hours with commercials, but the broadcast itself is actually an hour and a half. So you got to fit, and I didn't break it down of what it actually would be per act, because there's packages, there's interaction with the acts. But if you're looking at the amount of time they actually performed, it was much, much shorter. Particularly for some of these were really short.
Right.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to do the math in my head. If they each got equal time on the TV and they spent their whole time with each act, 90 minutes divided by 18, that's not hard math, is it?
Well, no, 180 minutes divided by 18 would be about 10 minutes. So it'd be about five
minutes
about
per
5
act,
minutes that the entire act got for their package, their pre-interaction, the performance, and their post-interaction.
Right. So 5 minutes for all of that, and they're supposed to have kind of an unwritten rule of 90 seconds or 2 minutes for their act.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'd heard in the past, was around 90 seconds. It seemed like Simon mentioned to one of the acts in audition like 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, interesting. All right. Well, many of these acts did not get anywhere close to 5 minutes. How long did they give Lucas and Falco, though?
Lucas and Falco had 90 seconds.
90 seconds.
Yep.
That's from the word go to my act has now finished.
Yes. Now, some will get more than that, and some will get way less than that.
Our average, I think, it's got to be less than 90.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So that was Lucas and Falco. Pretty enjoyable duo. Not a lot that we haven't seen before, but they do it pretty well.
Yep. And you could tell from this one, this was one of their favorites. I mean, we've gotten lots of packages. We're really getting to know Lucas and Falco, so the production's excited about him.
Yes. It'll be interesting to see what they do in the live shows if they can make this translate.
Well, next we get Andy Rowell. Is that right?
Andy Rowell, yeah, he's a native Iowan, so I really was hoping they were going to give him his full 90 seconds, but they seem to cut him just a little bit short.
Yeah, they cut him down to 25 seconds.
25 seconds.
Yeah.
This is the gentleman who came out and did his karaoke the first time. He did the song Tequila, and he stood there very plain-facedly, and when the time came to say tequila, he would say tequila in the most boring possible way. This time, he did not change his trick other than change the song to, I think it's called Turn Down for What?
Right.
I've heard the song. It's not my style of music. It's not something that I listen to, but I've heard it enough to know that he definitely had fun with the delivery, to say that. And again, very plain face when he got there. Gave a very turn down for what. So it was cute. Yeah, clearly not going to go far. We heard Brad Paisley's comment. He said, "Good luck."
Yeah, Brad was really confused by this. He didn't even understand what it was.
Right. Okay. So our third act of the night, then, we get somebody. I think we saw just a flash of him on the screens during the auditions. I don't have a name for him. He's a comedian, maybe a prop comedian.
Yeah. I wrote down Jacko.
Jacko.
Okay. Jecko.
Okay, so Jacko, he came out, he's wearing a pink suit. He's got, like, really crazy hair. Kind of a longish, scraggly-ish beard on the sides that is also just pointing out. And he does a magic trick?
Sure, yeah.
Balloon
Balloon animals?
Yeah. This is not something that we saw in auditions, other than maybe a second. The only judge's comment we got was from Simon. He said, it was annoying.
Yeah, we got buzz from Simon. We got boos from the crowd. Now, the way that he explains it is, what I do is different.
Yes. What he does is different.
Yeah.
This is true. Kind of unfortunate that they put him through so that we could not see him. It doesn't feel like he got his fair shake.
Agreed. I'm not even sure if I would have liked him in the initial auditions.
Yeah. And then the next act, they called him the Orange Magician. And he comes out on stage, and you feel like the judges were all like, oh yeah, the Orange Magician. Don't you love the Orange Magician? So glad the Orange Magician's back. And meanwhile, America's thinking, what, did I miss an episode?
Yeah.
What's going on? Because he didn't grace our TVs, as far as I remember, even a bit.
Nope, I don't remember him at all.
So he's got a catchphrase. It's good. So whenever he has something to respond to, his response is, it's good. Brad Paisley said, what do you think of my music? And he said, it's good. Which, he changed the inflection. So he's having a lot of fun, and he's able to communicate a lot with that one line. So I enjoyed that. His act itself, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I could, but, it's 90 seconds, but I knew this guy was not going through, so I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to him.
All right. Well, I'll say that he did kind of a quick change act. He had a screen set up on the stage. He would go back and come out, and his suit would change from first it was primarily orange, and then he changed it into a purple suit and then to a green suit, and then he reached behind the curtain and he pulled it back out, and just one of the arms is orange where he reached behind the screen, and the rest of it stayed green. And then he came out as a mummy, and then he came out in a dress, and then there was an explosion, and there was a like suitcase with legs on the bottom and a skeleton on the top. I thought it was a pretty good trick. It was really enjoyable. It feels like something that I might see like on a, free family night or a state fair thing, or, somebody coming through the school and they've got a performance one night, like maybe a little bit amateur. But I was pleased. I enjoyed the act.
Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed the act. I knew this guy wasn't going to go through because we've never seen him before. He had no package, so I couldn't pay. I didn't feel like I could pay any attention to him because he wasn't going to go anywhere. I wish we'd seen him in auditions. I think I would have been a little more invested with him.
Yeah, and this is the kind of stuff that I'd love to see more of in the auditions.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah.
How about we save all the intro packages to judge cuts, right? Let's see more acts in auditions, and then once we know who's going through from judge cuts, then you can start to tell us maybe a little bit more. But I feel like things were really unbalanced. The audition episodes were kind of a waste, right?
A little bit. I mean, they're wanting us to get invested with these acts that they know are going to the live shows because it's been televised after judge cuts has been recorded. So, right. They already know. So they're telling us, hey, here's who you need to like. Here's who you need to pay attention to because you're going to see them again in live shows.
Yeah, can't they start doing that with these Judge Cuts episodes instead of at auditions, though?
Yeah.
That would be my preference.
I agree. I wish they would, too. Then we could see more auditions and more guys like the Orange Magician.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
All right, next act was one that I enjoyed very, very much. Barry Wham from France. This is the beatbox group or a cappella group. I'm not sure exactly.
They called themselves a beatbox crew. So,
okay.
Yeah.
We got to meet the four of them. We got Fabian, who plays bass. Luigi, who's their drummer, plays bass, sings bass. Luigi's their drummer. We got a guy called Beastie who raps and does some instrument noises, and then a guy whose name sounded like Parvati. He does some sound effects, and he is their tenor. Yeah.
Oh, there you
go. Since the auditions, they said that they've been finding new sounds. They're going to impress the judges, and they come out and they do sort of a nightclub. They called it.
Yeah.
I heard a little bit of Rapper's Delight in there. Heard a lot of, sort of traditional nightclub music. I don't spend a lot of time at nightclubs, so I can't really really judge them on that. My apologies. But the music, the act, the engagement, the skill was all very, very good. What'd you think of Barry Wham?
This was my favorite act of the night. I don't spend any time in dance clubs. The only exposure to dance clubs that I have is TVs and movies. So I'm familiar, and I just watched the Amazing Race episode a week or so ago where they went to a dance club in Dubai, and basically this type of music, just a type of music, and I enjoyed this. I liked the beginning of it where the guy did that beat sound where it sounds like you're outside the nightclub, and then they kind of grow it and make it sound like you're coming into the nightclub, and then there you are in the middle of all the action.
Yeah, I think these guys are great. I think that the fact that they even told that story through the music that they gave us, it's really awesome. I'm thoroughly impressed. I really do enjoy a good a cappella group, and I think these guys are among the best that I can remember.
Yeah, these guys are fantastic. I think they're one of the favorites for this season.
I'd have to agree with that. Judge's comments. Let's get to Simon later. Brad said, keep doing what you're doing. Howie said, point out that this is not a track. He wanted to make sure that everybody knew that this was their actual voices. He didn't know that this was better than their last performance.
I would agree. I liked their auditions performance. I really liked this, but I think their auditions was better than this.
Yeah, and as part of that, just like that very first exposure,
Maybe.
That very first time you see it,
Yeah.
you think, oh wow. But I don't know that. I didn't go back and watch the first performance to really have a sense of what's better, but they're both great. Gabrielle said, you absolutely have a chance to go through. Julianne said that she loves them. Simon said that they lacked an incredible opening and they lacked an incredible middle, but they had a really great end to the performance. And I'm not sure that I agree with him, but that was that.
He also said, I'm not sure that audition had enough, but I think they typically say that to everyone in judge cuts. Like, oh, I don't know if it's enough to put you through, or I'm going to fight hard for you. They always say stuff like that, so you got to kind of take it for what it is.
They have to hedge their bets. They can possibly say, like, we all four agree you guys are definitely going through.
Yeah. I wish they would say stuff like that, like, we're going to put you through, like, so they can't.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Jay. Which one do you think had more performance time, Barry Wham or Orange Magician?
Ooh, good question. Boy, the fact that you asked me makes me think that it might be Orange Magician. Was it Orange Magician?
It was. Orange Magician was performing for 90 seconds, and Barry Wham only performed for 80 seconds.
Ooh.
So, yeah, we know they're great. We know Barry Wham is great, but it seems interesting that they gave Orange Magician that much time.
They gave him a little bit more. Yeah, total time, Barry Wham's going to win that because they got their package and everything along with that.
Yeah, and they also got auditions. So
and an audition, right. So total time for the season, they're running away with it.
Oh, yeah.
Next act of the night was a 10-year-old gentleman named Dylan who rapped a song, I believe, called Humble by Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, that's what he said that's what he was going to sing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next act of the night was Emerald Bell's drill team. Did he have anything else to say about him?
No, 17 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And even the 17 seconds wasn't that great.
No.
I mean,
I agree.
It was not good.
All right. So we had the Emerald Bell's drill team coming up here next. We learned that it is a total of 76 gals that make up their troupe here. What did you think of the Emerald Bells? Having you're pretty high on them in auditions. Now that you've seen them again, and I know that you said you were a little bit lower on them after kind of comparing them to the other dance acts. But where are you at on the Emerald Bells?
I was kind of in the middle on Emerald Bells in this one. I didn't think it was as good as the first one. And again, it may have been that wow factor that you just mentioned about Barry Wham. But just still seeing 76 girls up on the stage doing high kicks, doing the same routine, all in rhythm. They talked about how he compared them to the Rockettes, and they did mention, and I think I mentioned this as well, that the Rockettes don't do full all the way above your head high kicks. They only do waist length high kicks.
That's
where,
right.
Where the Emerald Bells said they actually kicked themselves in the head.
Yes. The thing that we're learning here, Cody, is that if people have questions about high kick and the ins and outs and the minutia, they need to call you.
Yeah, because I'm the foremost expert on high kicking.
Clearly, at least among us two. You know what? They actually got an intro package, which is more than we can say of most acts to this point in the episode. They did a couple of moves. Okay, let me back up. I'll say that they were very tight, and that is the thing that they have going for them most, is how incredibly in sync they are across all 76 gals. Just really, really impressive stuff. I get frustrated with the production on these things because we're watching them, and then we got crowd reaction shots, and we're back to them, and we're zoomed in on one person, and it's like we just need one camera pointed at the entire stage and don't move it, right?
Yeah, and for them it would be more of like a crane camera that's a little bit higher. We don't want that direct front shot. We need to see how they're splitting up and doing their, I don't know, crouching down, whatever it is they do.
Right.
A little bit higher. But yes.
They did one move. They were all surrounded around one girl. Yeah. And this girl in the middle, she like fans her arms out, and you see all the girls like whip their heads back out, and she brings her arms back in, and all the girls whip their heads back in. You like see the hair flying around them. But they spent like most of it zoomed in on the girl on the middle, and then you didn't get to see the effect of this move, and it just really was frustrating. Like, man, to see this entire thing, to see that move done, for the full effect would have been way better than seeing the girl in the middle wave her arms out. And it's frustrating that they do that, and I'm putting my name into the producers to tell them to stop.
We'll make sure they hear you, Jay.
Okay, thank you. Judges' comments. I gotta say, they all did the same last move where they jumped up and landed in the splits.
Yeah, I think that's their signature finale move.
That's their punctuation mark.
Yeah.
Good. So, Brad was funny. He said, "What the hell is prom like at that high school?" But that's funny. Like, it's got to be crazy, right?
And Howie can suck it.
Howie said, "I don't think that was enough to win AGT or move on to the next level."
Yeah, what's his hate on them?
It's a high school dance group.
Okay, we've seen him put through kids and other high school kids. I don't know what the difference is, but
all right, it feels like Glee, maybe. I don't know. Gabrielle said they got a lot better from their first audition, and she thinks they're worth fighting for. Julianne said, "You were extremely tight, but you felt high school." So
they are high
kind of
school.
Leaning. Well, is that what you want to see, though? Is a high school act, or do you want to see professional? Do you want to see the best of the best?
Yeah, fair point. Yeah.
Simon said, "I believe you're ready for a bigger stage. We got your personality, even with so many of you." And I thought that was a really interesting comment, and I actually agree with that. Like, you do get a sense of who these girls are. You do get a feel like you're not just watching a dance troupe, but there is some personality or some flair to them that you feel a little bit drawn in to knowing who they are. So I thought that was a pretty insightful comment from Simon.
And I'm one question I have, and I may have asked this or mentioned it in auditions, but say they go on and win AGT, do these 76 girls do the show in Vegas every year? Do they bring in new high school girls? Do they continue doing their shows at Southlake in high school? How does that work?
Here's what I think. I think that they would do some contracted number of shows, 4 or 5 or 10 shows in Vegas. They would take home their $1 million prize annualized out over 30 years or whatever it is.
Split up amongst 76 girls.
Right. And that would be the end of it. I don't believe that they would have residency. I don't believe that they would have a nightly show or anything like that. I think that it would be a sort of flash in a pan thing. It would happen and it would be over.
So you don't think they would continue to do that year after year after year?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Or even week after week.
It would be like, here's Shin Lim, or the feature is Shin Lim, and the pre-show is the Emerald Bells.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Shin Lim's going to have them on stage. They're going to do their thing before he comes out and does his magic act. They'll do that for a couple of months, and then that's the end of it.
Okay. Fair enough. It's good. Yeah.
That's what I think would happen. Next act of the night was your favorite kind of act.
Don't put that on me.
Your favorite kind of act.
Favorite kind of act, yes.
Right.
These are not the clairvoyants.
No, they're not the clairvoyants. They're the sentimentalists. They did get an intro package. And do you want to tell us about the sentimentalists act?
Yeah, so this is Mysterion and Steffi K. They come out and they're mentalists. They read what the judges' minds. They're not good at it. So the trick this time was there were marbles in the box. They had each judge take out a marble, and then Steffi K guessed Brad's marble, which was red. And she's good at guessing the items, but they're not good with the presentation. And I
want to clear up. I could imagine a comedy act being like, "Hey, we're mentalists and we're not good at it," but they are mentalists. They do the tricks accurately.
Yes.
But their presentation is just a little bit off.
Right.
I agree with you.
I want the showmanship. I don't want them just to stand up there and just tell me exactly what it is. I want the showmanship. That's part of the entertainment.
Yeah, there's something missing.
Yeah.
Something, yeah.
I want a guy named Mysterion to be a little bit of a mystery, to make things sound mysterious.
Yeah. Mysterion is just a little too, I don't know, it's a little too on the nose.
Yeah.
The whole thing's just a little like high school.
Now, they did do a good job at guessing the items. I like that that she figured out Brad's guitar, that it was a yellow guitar, that she picked the color of each marbles. That's kind of fascinating, but I wanted a little bit more showmanship, a little more stage presence, I guess.
Yeah. The stage presence maybe is where they're off. Howie said it's still not enough for him. Gabrielle said, I thought they were great. Julianne said she enjoyed it and she'll be fighting for them. And that's all we got for judges' cuts.
Yeah. Now this one I think was the longest one. Oh no, we have one more. This was the second longest one of the night.
Oh boy.
At 2 minutes 50 seconds.
Oh wow. So they let them do their entire act.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. They made up for Dylan and Jekko and Andy Ryle. They got their time.
Well, after that long one, we have another one to maybe go through a little more quickly here. Duo Togni, they're aerialists. They've got the ropes that come down from the ceiling. She puts her feet in the ropes and does the splits up above the stage. That was pretty cool. While she's hanging upside down, they each bite opposite ends of a thing and they spin in the air. Then he's hanging by the ropes and he pulls her up by the hair and drops her from, 10, 15 feet. And then she says to Howie, who apparently in auditions didn't have nice things to say about them, she said, I'd like to hold you with my teeth. And so Howie comes up on stage and he holds on to the contraption and she bites down on it and pulls him up in the air, and Howie didn't seem to think that he enjoyed it that much.
I wouldn't have enjoyed that this or that much. I don't know why the judges agree to do this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought that the act itself was fun. I thought that they were pretty good aerialists, at least. Brad, in his comments, he said, "I'm not going to say anything other than it was amazing. I'm not going to say anything bad."
Yeah, absolutely, because he doesn't want to have to go and be pulled up by their teeth.
Right. Howie said, "If you promise me you'll never do that again, I'll fight for you."
Now, did we see them in auditions? They were not in auditions, right?
No.
Okay.
No, we did not see them. We didn't get their intro package. We didn't see them in auditions. This was just kind of a fun act, so we can probably move on to the next one.
Sophie Pecora.
Sophie Pecora. She was clear back on episode what? Let me pull it up here. Episode 1. Yeah. 15 years old. She's got kind of frizzy hair. She is a singer, songwriter, rapper. What did you think of Sophie Pecora's song, Sophie Pecora's act tonight?
I'm not a big fan of Sophie Pecora. It seems just like Chase scoring. And I'm not a big fan of this rapping in the middle of songs. That's just not my thing. I understand it's good. A lot of people like it, and that's fine. It's just not my thing. I'm not surprised. I'm a little surprised that this was the golden buzzer. It's hard. She talks about bullying. This was an original song about bullying. I was gonna write down her a little of her rapping in the middle. I didn't get a chance to do it.
Okay.
But part of the lyrics were misfits have power. The ending was misfits have powers that are really pretty rad.
Yep.
So, just the song was about being bullied, and I think one of Brad's comments was that the moment you don't recognize your bully, you win. The more that you give them attention, the more they win.
Right. The line that you gave us, misfits have some powers that are really pretty rad. That's the empowering line. Simon said the song should have ended with, "And I don't even think about you anymore," and make it more positive and kind of turn it against the bullies in a way that it just what you say, what you think you hold over me, it does not matter. Yeah, and Simon loves her voice. Brad said, "I know you" from that one song, and I felt like that was a pretty good comment. Like, you have a sense of who this girl is from what we saw. Gabrielle said, "You know how to express yourself," and then of course we got that the golden buzzer moment from Brad Paisley. So not my golden buzzer, but you know what? I enjoy her style. She's able to keep the rhythm going on the guitar. She's got a nice groove. I can really enjoy this for about a song or two at a time. I think beyond that, I might get a little bit fatigued of the style. But I think I'm a little higher on her than maybe you were.
Yeah, I would say you're much higher on her than I am. I'm not. I'm kind of middle of the pack on her. I mean, she's a singer for one thing, and then the type of singing is just not my thing.
All right. Well, that's enough for her for now.
Well, real quick before we leave Sophie.
Oh, please. Yeah.
So we have a little golden buzzer trivia. Real quick. Back in season 12, I started noticing a trend that the guest judges of when they were giving out the golden buzzer.
Okay.
And I noticed it was right in the middle of the show, somewhere along the 8, 9, 10, 9, 10, 11, somewhere in that range. There were no golden buzzers early and no golden buzzers late. It was right in the middle. So Sophie Pecora, number 9 out of 18.
Number 9 out of 18. There you go.
So it really behooves an act. It really helps an act out. And production may have figured this out, that, hey, if you're right in the middle, that's the sweet spot to get the golden buzzer from a guest judge.
I think I had her listed as number 10 out of 18, but that's just fine.
Yeah, it's still right in the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, literally in the middle of 18.
Yep.
So, she, no surprise. You also, I seem to remember, pointed out that the judges were wearing the same clothes for all the golden buzzers. Is that right?
So in season 12, yes, all of the judges' golden buzzers look like they were on the same day. I just happened to notice that Mel B was wearing the same weird net see-through type dress when all of the judges gave their golden buzzer. Tyra gave hers, I think, on a different day. Mel B was not wearing that dress when Tyra gave hers. I think this year, and I didn't pay that close attention, but I think that was not the case this year.
Maybe their clothes weren't quite as noticeable as Mel B's was.
They kind of were. I think, well, you had Julianne wearing the emo. That's probably shouldn't say that. The mascara, the black mascara. We noticed that a lot, so that really stuck out. And I think Gabrielle had a certain outfit, and I can't remember what it was, what she was wearing. Simon was wearing a white shirt, so there's that.
Like he do.
Like he do. I think he has white and black. Are those his two shirts?
I think he might sometimes branch out and wear black. Yeah. Yes.
And then Howie, I think he just wears a T-shirt as well. I don't know if he has anything special, but
yeah, he doesn't seem to be quite as flashy as the ladies.
Right. It's the ladies that really stick out. And I know Julianne. I was really paying attention when she had the black mascara outfit on. And I'm not sure what Gabrielle was wearing at that time.
Okay.
So
you're not making any commentary about that.
Yeah. So anyway, I didn't pay as much attention this year to when the judges gave out their golden buzzer to see if they were all on the same day.
Okay. All right. Well, speaking of things that we didn't pay attention to, we got Dakota and Nadia, who are dancers. How many seconds did they get?
9 seconds.
Okay. Next act was a gentleman named Kevin Schwartz. We did get to see him.
Yeah. And I wanted to see
for
more
how
of
long?
Him.
Wait, what?
I wanted to see more of Kevin Schwartz. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I know he's not one of my favorite comedians, but he's still a comedian. I wanted to see more of Kevin Schwartz.
Okay. All right. Okay. They gave us one of his lines. He says, "I always get deja vu." But the next time I didn't. But at one time I didn't, and the next time I didn't. Whoa! So I totally flubbed that delivery. This guy, he's got some good stuff. I think he's got some really decent material. Simon said, "I don't think you're Vegas ready," and that's about all we got from him. How many seconds did Kevin Schwartz have?
25. So
25.
He got
seconds.
Two jokes out?
I didn't even write down the other one. Next act was a gentleman. His name was Loki Alohikea.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
It's a guess. So, Loki, if I totally murdered that, my sincerest apologies. What'd you think of Loki for the seconds that we had him?
10 seconds was good.
Okay, yeah. Howie said being a very good singer is not enough. So we are just blowing through some acts here. We got to slow this down. Yeah. We're going to come up on Matthew Richardson.
And real quick before we get to Matthew Richardson, this kind of, I don't know if it proves my point, but it kind of really helps my argument that, well, what's the difference in Loki and some of these other singers? They still sound the same to me, and I don't remember if he played the guitar. He may have just been a singer. We'll get to one here in a little bit that I saw had a guitar, but that didn't play it. So when you compare Loki to I don't know if you compare him to I just lost it. Sophie. When you compare him to Sophie and some of the other singers, I'm not sure what makes the others stand out compared to him. I thought his 10 seconds were fine.
Yeah.
So,
I think he doesn't have the feels, right? America's Got Feels.
I guess so. Yep.
His
name's
got
Loki. I mean, how cool is that?
Well, yeah. He's yep.
Isn't that the god Mischievous?
I do not
from
know.
Thor.
I do not know.
Okay.
I haven't kept up with the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Or the DC universe, for that matter. Doesn't really.
You got a lot of movies to watch, Jay.
Well, yeah. See, that's the thing. It's that completionist nature in me that, like, oh crap! Now there's 26 of them, 27 of them, 28 of them. Like, I can't start because I can't stop.
Yeah, you won't be able to finish. That's right.
Right. Okay.
So anyway,
all right. Matthew Richardson. We get a pretty powerful package from him, or I felt at least a pretty powerful performance. He said at 26 years old, he didn't feel like he was accomplishing anything meaningful, so he kind of dropped out of work and went to acrobatics school. Finds out a little while later that his dad has pancreatic cancer. He dies just a few months after that, and he was Matthew's biggest fan. He told him to chase his dream. So this performance is dedicated to his deceased father, and so he does the metal hoop that he kind of rolls around, spins around, cartwheels in. It's a pretty traditional circus or acrobatic implement, I think.
Before they got to the end, did you notice it was his dream catcher?
Oh, I noticed it right
okay.
away. Yeah. It came down and it's got sort of the ropes crisscrossed in it, and they must have been flexible somehow, that more of a bungee cord material. But he's got his hoop made up into a dream catcher as it comes down from the ceiling, and as he does his act in it. You know who this reminded me of?
No, who?
One of my favorite acts from Champions, Victor Key.
Yes, yeah.
He sort of takes that circus style of performance, and instead of going comedy, funny, clowning it, he goes serious, almost dark even with it. Victor Key was the juggler. Matthew Richardson sort of takes this hoop to that place instead of the comedy side. So I enjoyed this act more than I expected to.
Good. I was okay with it. I really liked the music and the voiceovers.
Yeah,
his dad's voiceover was really cool.
Yeah, they revealed that the track was his father's voice, and it was like him playing with Matthew as a child. So almost haunting in the presentation. And again, what he does is he spins and he twists, and he is as fast and powerful as anybody I've ever seen do it, with my limited exposure to it.
And this one particularly hit us directly in the feels.
Yeah, and not at all accidentally, right?
Do you think Brad was like, dang, I wish I still had that golden buzzer?
Well, possibly, except, well, we'll get to it,
okay.
But they didn't even, the four judges didn't even put him through.
Yeah, okay. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get there. All right, 15th act of the night was Demir.
Yes, Demir.
Yep, 16th act of the night.
Yeah, I actually wrote, let's see, I actually wrote a couple of comments about this, because this is the one I mentioned a moment ago that I think they did like a small package, or maybe him talking to Kevin Schwartz. They did something with him, and he had a guitar, and then he comes out on stage and sings Say Something, I'm Giving Up on You by A Great Big World. And then I wondered, well, where's his guitar? I wanted to see more guitar. I need
Yeah,
more
interesting
guitar.
that it was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a note. He was completely a cappella for the first half of the verse.
Yes.
And he was right on key, right where he was supposed to be when the music did come in. They didn't give us anything to have more to say about it. It was fine.
Yeah. They even showed his like auditions pack or like his audition a little bit. Kind of used
Right.
that as an audition. And they said you have to do something we've never heard before, and that means taking a risk. And then he sings this.
Yeah. How many acts say something in their audition round? Like across America. It's just, ridiculous. It's, I don't have anything to say because I don't know anything. I don't.
Uh-oh, Jay. You need the feels.
I don't know anything to say.
You need the feels.
Do we have feels coming up here?
Yeah, a little bit. But what I'm getting at is you needed a package. You needed some history on him to get more out of his performance. You needed the feels.
I needed more than 15 seconds.
What?
I needed more than the 15 seconds they gave him.
He had 72 seconds.
Demirier had 72 seconds?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm left wanting then.
Okay. Maybe you'll get him
You're
as
right.
a wild
they
card.
Did give him most of his song. You're right. You're right. No, he won't be a wild card. He's forgotten. Nobody knows who he is, and it's unfortunate for him because the producers keep messing this stuff up.
Okay, because it was Chris Clafford that he was with, not Kevin Schwartz. So they had Demir and Chris Clafford together almost the entire show. Every time we saw one, we saw the other.
Yeah.
So anyway,
all right. So Chris Clafford was our next one. He's the 30-year-old Swedish singer, songwriter, musician. I noticed his tight pants last time we talked about him. He's one of these guys. He just doesn't look the part, and that's what his package is all about. He says, I don't look the part, and tonight I'm going to do an original song called Something Like Me, about people judging him on his appearance. What'd you think of Chris Clafford tonight?
I like Chris Clafford. I think I like his personality more than his talent. It's just another singer, but I like the guy. The him being Swedish and kind of the mountain man look and the way he interacts with the judges. If he was some other category, I'd probably really enjoy him. But being a singer, it just knocks it down a little bit. Now he does sing original stuff, which helps. He doesn't sing Say Something or cover some other song. I do like that he sings his own stuff, but still a singer.
Yeah. And I took down his lyrics here, and there's just not even anything that I feel is particularly poetic or insightful from the song itself. I think he's got a pretty difficult road to a victory.
Agreed. I think the singing competition's going to be pretty stiff, and I don't think he has enough in there to wow America over.
Yeah.
Now, he did get the same length as Demir. They got the exact same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
72
seconds.
72 seconds. Brad said it was inspiring to hear you sing. You're something else. Howie said you stepped it up. Songwriting on top of your abilities. The gamble paid off. Julianne said, stay who you are. Simon said, I was concerned you'd come back and do another cover. A risk would have been not doing that song. So Simon really enjoyed the song itself.
Simon has an ear for this stuff. He's he knows something when he sees it.
No doubt, he's built his career on it, and I have not. So I can acquiesce to him, but I do know what I like, and I didn't think the song was great.
Yeah, I know what I like. It may not necessarily be good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, here's something that was good.
Yes.
The Massaudi brothers.
Yes, this was fun.
They did the best trick I think I've ever seen by a mile.
And being late.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So we learned that they landed in LA 60 minutes ago. Their luggage did not. They rushed to the theater. The producers put them in some tuxedos or whatever they have on hand, and we haven't stretched out. We haven't had a chance to really warm up, but we're on, so we got to go.
Yeah, and I don't know why production gave them clothes to wear. They're just going to take it off.
If my torso looked like that, like any one of them, even their, I don't know how old father.
Yeah.
their 60, 70-year-old father.
Oh, he looked fantastic. I mean,
yeah. I'd probably take my shirt off too. Yeah. So let's see. The trick that I loved so much. The one brother was up on his shoulders. His hands were propping his hips up. So if you were going to do a bicycle in the air, right? You would be laying on your back with your hips up in the air, and then you could kick your feet around in a circle. So that's sort of his position. The second brother is doing a handstand on top of his feet, straight up in the air. And then this bottom brother does the unthinkable. He goes from up on his shoulders like that. He lowers his hips down, and then he didn't lower his hips down. He twisted his head out from under him, and so he ended up on his belly, and brings the brother, still doing the handstand, on his feet all the way down. So he's laying flat on the ground with his brother, his hands on his feet, on his belly, and then he reverses it, and he goes from flat on the ground to lifting his legs up, and then he slides his knees in, and he tucks his head back under, and he twists himself back up in the air so that his hands are back under his hips. The doing it, the first direction, getting it down to the ground was awesome. Then reversing it and getting his brother back up to the starting position was just mind-bogglingly good. It's amazing. Really, really cool trick.
One of these days we're going to have you demonstrate what you just described.
Okay, but you're going to have to learn how to do a handstand on my feet.
Fair enough. Yeah. We'll do.
All right. All right. So that was good. And then just to ratchet it up a little bit further, we're going to bring Dad up on stage. So Dad comes up, and he's in a chair sitting position with no chair, right? One brother stands on his knees and leans forward. The second brother, he's bouncing on top of him. The third brother does a handstand on Dad's head. So all four of the gentlemen are suspended by just Dad's 2 feet on the ground, would be the only thing touching the ground. Really cool trick. Dad's not doing anything particularly stressful on his body, right? The counterbalancing and the balancing all sort of takes care of itself. But it was great to see him on stage. I think that it was just that last thing to kind of push them to the next level. I thoroughly enjoyed this. What'd you think?
I enjoyed this too, and my question was if the dad came on stage and became part of this performance, does he continue on with them in the live shows?
Yeah, interesting question. I don't know.
Did him coming up and doing this push the judges, or were the judges already going to put them through anyway?
I would have put them through anyway.
Yeah.
They were great. Brad said, "This was great. Way to go, dudes." Howie said, "You rose to the occasion. You deserve to go through." Gabrielle said, "You don't need shirts. You upped your game by 1,000%." And Simon said, "What you shared made me like you even more," about them arriving without the thing. So, really great performance. Really fun act.
Yeah. Now this was the longest of the night, with the dad coming up. So just their initial part, just the three of them, was 1:50. When the dad came out, it added another minute. So about 2:53 for their entire performance.
Okay,
So,
and that's plenty.
yeah.
Okay, and then the Undlovu Youth Choir from South Africa was the final act of the night. I didn't take a lot of notes on the actual performance itself. I only said I greatly preferred their first performance.
I did too. Now they sang Waka Waka by Shakira.
Okay. Was not familiar with the song myself. Sorry.
No, I'm not familiar with it. I think there's only one Shakira song I'm familiar with, and that's from Zootopia.
Okay. I wondered if there was maybe some sort of a mixing problem or something. I didn't feel like I could hear the performance very well.
I just didn't feel. I mean, they're excited to be here. They've got excitement all over their faces, but I didn't feel this was as energetic as their audition.
Yeah. It felt like something was maybe just a little off on this one. Simon said he always loves seeing them perform. Julianne said, "You dance, you sing, you're so together. It represent unity and collectiveness." Gabrielle said, "Your voices, your energy, everything you represent is pure magic." Yeah, that's the judge's comments. I want to like this act. I really enjoyed their first one. I didn't feel like this one was as good. So I was left kind of wanting with the Undlovu Youth Choir.
Yeah, I felt this show as a whole, this episode as a whole, felt a little weak, except for one or two performances.
Okay. Well, I've got a guess at maybe who your personal golden buzzer of the night would be.
Okay.
And I think it might be the same one as me.
Okay, go ahead.
I would pick Barry Wham.
Yes,
I think they're the most likely to win the season from tonight's episode.
Yeah, they're the best performance from tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My second, if it weren't Barry Wham, it'd be Masoudi Brothers for me.
Yeah, agreed.
So I guess if I were going to choose the top 7, if I were the America's Got Talent judges, I would have given my 7 of the night to I'll go reverse chronological order. Masoudi Brothers, then Matthew Richardson. I've got Kevin Schwartz as I like him. I like his style. We're gonna back up to Duo Tagni, the aerialist that we got no intro package for. Then Barry Wham, my golden buzzer of the night. I'm going to give one to Orange Magician, and to round out my top 7, I've got Lucas and Falco.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit more chalk on this. I'm going to go in the chronological order. Lucas and Falco, and then Barry Wham, golden buzzer, Emerald Bells, Matthew Richardson. Is it Richardson or Richards? Richardson?
I have Richardson.
Okay. Richardson. And then I have Chris Clafford, Masoudi Brothers, and then the youth choir. So basically everyone we've already seen from auditions and are familiar with.
Okay. Was that 6 or 7?
I don't know. I may not be able to count.
All
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Let me go through them again. Let me go one more time.
What?
Lucas and Falco, Barry Wham, Emerald Bells, Matthew Richardson, Chris Clafford.
Matthew Richardson. Okay.
Yeah, Masoudi Brothers, and the youth choir.
So I missed Matthew Richardson, and you also dropped Sophie Pecora.
Yes.
So interesting. All right, so that's our sevens. The judges themselves, first they brought out Duo Togni and Dakota and Nadia, said you're both eliminated. Then they brought out Matthew Richardson, and America was stunned when he was eliminated.
I was shocked.
They're going to bring him back as a wild
yeah, that's
card,
what I
right?
have. Wild card. Yeah.
Yeah. Then they brought out the Emerald Bells, and they said you're going through. And they brought out our 3 comedians or magician, Andrew Rowell, Harry, what was his name, Jekko?
Yep, Jekko.
And the Orange Magician. They said you 3 are all 3 eliminated. They brought out Miss Howdy Brothers, said you're going through. Then they brought out our 10-year-old Dylan, the rapper, Kevin Schwartz, and Loki. And they said those 3 are eliminated. So we've eliminated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 acts, and there's 2 going through. So there's 4 spots left for 6 acts, right? So feels like they were really kind of building towards something there. Barry Wham, you're going through. Lucas and Falco and the Sentimentalists are sharing the stage. How did you think this was going to go?
I knew it was going to go Lucas and Falco.
All right.
Yeah, I thought it was a given.
Yeah, so it went to Lucas and Falco. Then Undlovu Youth Choir, and then they brought out Chris Clafford and Demir. And how did you think that one was
I knew it was going to go Chris Clafford because we've seen packages.
Much along with the rest of America.
Yeah.
So that's that for the episode. Man, what do you think of... I don't know. What do I want to say? Like, I guess I've already expressed it. I'm frustrated that they are putting 18 acts on this episode, but we're only familiar with half of them,
right?
If even.
Yep.
Let's see. I marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them that we'd never seen before tonight. So. A little frustrating. I would like to see the style of the show. Like, if you want people to come back week after week, if you want us to be invested and to mark our calendars, it's AGT night. I got to see what's going on. Like, maybe bring us a little bit closer to the old style, right? Let's see these acts audition. Let's see them, go to judges' cuts. You can still pre-record all that stuff, but maybe just make it a little more raw or a little more. I don't know what the right word is, but I'm frustrated with their overproducing it right out of the gate.
Yeah. I think you nailed it. Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, you know what? I still have to remind myself every once in a while, the reason I get frustrated, the reason why I feel so passionate is because I really love the show. And, we get moments like Matthew Richardson's act tonight was just stunning, was moving. We get the Miss Howdy brothers doing things that I cannot imagine. Like, when they do that trick, it's like, I wonder if we can do this. Like, I can't even bring myself to imagining the trick, right? The kind of things that we see, that's what I love about the show. We got to see some really, really cool stuff. And I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season.
Yeah, I did like, and kind of just looking back at the list, I do like there's a bunch of variety in this episode. They're not putting all the singers together, and we just get a mix.
Yeah, we got a dance group. Well, Golden Buzzer was a singer. Yeah. We got the dance group. We got the hand balancers. We got a cappella group. We got Lucas and Falco. We got a youth choir, and Chris Clafford, another singer. So, yeah, that's a lot of variety, and that's what we love.
That's what we love.
Keep it coming. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we rag on singers, but we just want to see variety.
Yeah. Singers aren't going anywhere.
No.
They're going to continue to have a space in America's Got Talent, but I'm here for the variety. Keep it coming.
Yep. Now I was looking to see if we knew who performed next week. That doesn't look like they have it posted for Judge Cuts 2. So I'm not sure who's going to be performing in the second week.
Okay. Well, everybody, tune in for another episode of America's Got Talent this week. We will be back, I believe, on Thursday again to discuss it further. And until then, I think we're ready to check out for the night.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about everything there is to talk about. So.
All right. Well, with that, go on Twitter, comment or vote on our tweet.
Yeah, our Twitter poll. Yeah.
Give us a question. Do you agree? Who's your golden buzzer of the night? Anything and everything. We'd love to engage with you guys more. So I will wish you all a happy July. Stay cool out there, everybody.
Bye.